Versions of Hell, Squid Game and Korea's historical homeless centers. Two men stand at the entrance to a forest surrounded by tall pine trees on an island south of the capital Seoul. In the middle of the forest there is a large clearing and an excavation site. The words written on a safety notice reveal what this forest hides. Seon-gam Academy Graveyard Recovery Operation. Chun Jong-soo and Pak Sung-ki were just boys when they were among thousands cleared off the streets by South Korean authorities for alleged vagrancy, and held for years as inmates at institutions like Seon-gam Academy. Seon-gam Island was only accessible by boat when Chun and Pak were first detained in 1965 and 1980, respectively. Fighting to control his trembling voice, Chun says he remembers the burial site now being excavated here. He was among the young detainees forced to bury the bodies of his fellow inmates who died trying to escape. Chun told Al Jazeera how they would recover bodies that washed up on the island's shores and bury them at this forest cemetery. Hundreds and possibly thousands died amid the forced labor, violence, and sexual abuse that prevailed in the group homes and detention centers, like the Seon-gam Academy, that were established across South Korea during the country's decades of heavy-handed rule from the 1960s through to the 1980s. Among the most notorious was Brothers Home, a so-called welfare center that was once located in the southern port city of Busan, where thousands were enslaved and abused in a state-sponsored program to punish vagrants and clear the homeless from South Korea's streets. While police did most of the seizures, Brothers Home employees were also allowed to patrol the city in trucks to do the kidnapping themselves. Children, people with disabilities, and the homeless were rounded up, detained, and forced to work at the home, where survivors recounted witnessing people beaten to death by staff or left to die from injuries. Real Hell TV drama. The existence of these brutal institutions in South Korea has come to wider attention as Netflix's Squid Game gains global attention. Season 2 of the South Korean drama kicked off late last year by racking up the largest audience ever for the debut of a TV series by the online streaming service. In just 3 days, the dystopian drama about down-on-their-luck South Koreans playing life-or-death games for a jackpot prize of millions amassed 68 million views. Across social media, the Squid Game hype has been prompted by reports the show was based on the real-life horrors that took place at such places as Brothers Home and Seon-gam Academy. Images purportedly of the Brothers Home have gone viral online, showing eerily similar interiors to the colorful, Escher-esque facility depicted in Squid Game, where people compete at children's games and the losers are killed violently. One Facebook user with more than 1 million followers shared images of dimly lit, derelict hallways painted in the TV show's iconic pink and green. Only later were the photos identified as fakes, generated by iTools online, according to fact-checking organizations. South Koreans have also criticized comparisons with the TV show, some saying Brothers Home was worse in ways than the fictional island prison of Netflix fame. Fiction can't keep up with the horrors of reality, wrote one South Korean social media user, who said life was real hell in the homes compared with that in the TV show game. In 2022, South Korea's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, an independent investigative body, confirmed that 657 people died at Brothers Home in Busan between 1975 and 1986. Testimonies from survivors of the home recounted horrific conditions that included intense forced labor, physical assault, systemic sexual abuse, and pervasive cruel and degrading treatment. On paper, these facilities were established out of the need to provide relief to impoverished welfare recipients, said Jung Chol, an investigator for the commission. Hidden was the true function of such centers, he said. Contrary to their stated goals, the forced detention of welfare recipients against their will, human rights abuses, and forced labor in the centers were vastly problematic, he said. According to Ha, such centers were part of a unified system of nationwide vagrancy enforcement and detainee management, established by the Ministry of Interior and enforced by police officers who earned job rating points for each child apprehended and admitted. General arrests gave officers up to 3 points, while an admittance to brother's home was worth 5 points. This suggests that police officers performed excessive crackdowns to improve their job performances, as said. Escape this place at all costs. Visiting the site of the Seon-gam Academy with Al Jazeera, Chun told how he was captured by authorities while hanging around Seoul's train station when he was just 11 years old.